73 minutes before you die, your eyes turn a vibrant violet. There is no action to reverse this ocular ticking clock toward death. With less than an hour and a half to live, what would you do? Welcome to the world of Purple Eyes. 32 creators bring you 18 stories of humor, heartache, and humility, with tales from some of the top creators in indie comics, such as Valeria Araya, Llewellyn Polanco, Mario Candelaria, and Philip Myra. Now on Kickstarter until June 15th. Physical and digital copies of the book are available, as well as custom commissions and the opportunity to be drawn into several stories. Get your copy of the summer's most talked about anthology at Purple Eyes on Kickstarter or at purpleeyescomic.com.
Morning, Gary. Morning, Marianne. Need a menu? Nah, I'll just have the usual. You sure do love your eggs and coffee, Gary. Best way to start your morning, Marianne. Well, that and an issue of Town and County. What's that? Town and County is a new comic series written and drawn by cartoonist Alex Nall. He's that guy that wrote them books about teaching and that Mr. Rogers feller. Oh, he was such a nice man. The first issue is 36 pages of black and white comic stories with beautiful color covers and features 6 stories about folks in our little township here in Illinois, like Susie Barber, the house cleaner that uncovers her client's dirty laundry, if you know what I mean, and Stanley Pepper, that big feller that just lost his job and took to drinking every night at Bugs's Tavern. Well, ain't that something? Town and County is published by Ivy Terrace Press, headquartered in Chicago. Chicago? Who would want to live there? So dirty. Each issue comes with a copy of the Hometown Hero, our little town's newsletter, and it's only $8. $8? Where can I get it, Gary? You can order a copy of Town and County on the internet at storeenvy/AlexNallComics. Oh, there's your breakfast, Gary. Thanks, Marianne. Nothing like a cup of coffee and a good comic book.
Tired of the same old ads? Talking about being tired of the same old comics? Why not try Clusterfucks Comics number 4 instead? The 4th issue of Clusterfucks Comics is now available, featuring comics from some of the coolest creators around. Creators like Jason Cavalli, Eric Jasek, Anna Peterson, Stu Nod, Tony DiPasquale, Umberto Tonella, Drew B. Hall, Cameron Zavala, Alex DeKaiju, and so many more. Get your issue now at clusterfuckscomics.bigcartel.com. Also, be sure to keep an eye out for a special free comic book day issue of Clusterfucks Comics May 7th at the following stores: Floating World Comics, Quimby Chicago, Escape Pod Comics, Gutter Pop Comics, and Collector's Paradise North Hollywood. Clusterfucks Comics. Comics you can clusterfucks with.
Prosecution outlined how accounting practices of Conley Trucking did not.
What kind of likeness is that? If they were great artists, they'll be in a museum.
Evidence today may signal at least one.
I'm fucking fodder for cartoonists now.
Time once again for another wonderful, exciting, fantastic episode of Gutter Boys. Gutter Boys is a small press comics podcast about the ins, the outs, the highs and the lows of making comics. I'm your host JB with my co-host Cam. On today's episode, it's just the boys, no guests.
Yeah, we fucked up and missed our interview with Ryan Alves, so he'll be on the next episode. But yeah, today it's just us.
Yeah, this is what you get when we start putting zero effort into something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a weird month. So I've been busy with other shit too. So what have you been up to?
I quit my job today. Because it's just they were setting my schedule for my life, and I can just be a freelancer and walk dogs on apps, and so I've kind of got the fire in me again. I need to crank out some zines or comics for real. I'm gonna try to do something soon. Don't know if that's gonna be the split with Jazz, but like regardless, my aim is to have something out in May next month. So might just be like a little 12-page zine or something like that I make at like Kinko's, but it's gonna be something. Something's gonna happen.
All right.
So hold me accountable, listeners. I've been real shit at the DM lately, but given the life change, I should be able to be on my phone a lot more. So if you have DM'd us and I haven't gotten back to you, try again. And my plan is to, for real, at my job, I wasn't allowed to have my phone on me at all times. So I would come back to, 50 notifications. And if you weren't at the top, I'm sorry, you were getting ignored. So, but now it's fully operational again.
Yeah, now you have to compete with WWE 2K 2022. So good luck getting your DMs answered.
Hey, it's on sale. So please, one of you out there, buy it and play with me online. It's cross-platform. I'm trying to play online. But, I'm tired of fighting these guys who just make Juggalo creator wrestlers and they're 100 maxed out on stats and they just every move's the Stone Cold Stunner.
Well,
that's playing online.
You gotta fucking make your own Juggalo that's maxed out.
Yeah, maybe. I guess so. Because I'll be going in there on some bitch shit trying to fight as Cesaro and shit and just getting worked.
Wow, I wouldn't do that. That doesn't sound fun.
Yeah, so I need somebody to play with. So listeners, if you get the game, let me know.
All right.
I love Rey Mysterio. That's the word on the street.
Yeah, and weed.
And weed, yeah.
Also 420 was yesterday as of recording. Shout out to all our weed smokers.
No, so what I want to say is shout out to everybody that stayed high, like me, the past 2 weeks since 420 and kept the train rolling.
Or just kept the train rolling years ago, and 420 is just another day.
Yeah, I used to really when I was younger, in college, it was a really big deal. Me and my roommates would we were just dumb stoner kids, so we'd be let's set the alarm for 4 a.m., roll a blunt so we can light up at 420 on 420, bro. And we used to do that shit. Now it's just oh yeah, that's a thing. I'm too old to celebrate. Actually, I turned green in high school on 420 because I ate a fuck ton of those firecracker things. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Dude, they're the worst thing you could ever eat. So I borrowed a toaster oven from a buddy to make these, but you literally just take weed and you crumble it up and you put it on a saltine cracker with peanut butter and you eat the buds and everything, but you bake it in the toaster oven for 40 minutes.
Sounds disgusting.
Dude, it was one of the worst things I've ever eaten in my life. And I got to school and I was just fucking green. How I didn't go to they didn't call my parents or something because I was stumbling through the park or the hallways, dude. I remember some buddies just looking at me and cracking up, leaning against the wall between classes just to stay alive, dude.
Your eyes are so red, you look like Mr. Sinister.
Dude, I was as green as the Grinch with the Mr. Sinister eyes. And then somewhere I remember midday, I went to the bathroom and I just threw up the most vomit I've ever thrown up in my life, and I was fine after that.
Why would you do that on your first try?
No, it wasn't the first time I smoked or anything. It was my first 420.
Okay. Still pretty dumb, but yeah, okay.
Yeah, no, and before school too, it was sophomore or junior year of high school. It was bad, man. The teachers they had to have known, especially knowing the day. And of course, we were smoking blunts in the cars outside in the parking lot before school. It was just a bad day. But I still have a friend who, to this day, she's around town here, and when I bump into her, she's like, "Do you remember that time in high school you turned green?"
Jesus. Yeah, no, I could not do being high at school. That would never work. I knew that going in. That wouldn't happen.
My senior year, I was high the majority of it.
That's crazy. Yeah, no, I couldn't do that.
Were you one of those people that was super into studying and making sure you had good grades though?
Oh, fuck no. No. Yeah. I started drinking in sophomore year of high school.
Hell yeah.
So I've definitely showed up to class drunk before, but I could pull that off compared to being high. There's no way I could hide being high.
Yeah, I don't know how or why we did it. I mean, eventually you smoke so much that it becomes like second nature, but like definitely like, I feel like we were definitely like, dumb kids like risking it all in hindsight. Glad that we didn't get caught. We had a guy, we called him Joe Cool. He was the in-school detention like guy who oversees like the in-school detention like room or whatever. And he would smoke weed with us
really
after.
technical terms.
Yeah. Well, what do they call that other places? We called it A room, but I know A room probably isn't. You know what I'm talking about, though, right? Where like they don't suspend you, but they send you to the room with all the bad kids for the day.
In-school suspension?
Yeah. That. The dude who ran that, we called him Joe Cool, but he used to smoke blunts with us after school every day junior year.
What?
Yeah.
What the So this dude that works for the school would just like hang out with high school kids and smoke weed with them?
In hindsight, it was sus.
Dude,
but
what
like,
a loser.
Yeah, he was
had
like
no friends.
Yeah, he was like I don't even remember dude's real name now, but we called him Joe Cool so nobody would ever like, figure out who it was. But
Jesus.
Yeah, he used to just like smoke blunts with us. But he was like a dealer too, so we would buy weed from him sometimes. Maybe that's why he was doing it. But in hindsight, yeah, it's kind of weird that he was hanging out with us because I'm pretty sure he was like mid-20s, if not early 30s.
Yeah, no, that guy's definitely a pedo.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
This is all just unlocking in my mind now. Like, oh, fuck.
Oh, wait, that guy. That guy that was selling weed to us and smoking with us after school might have been not a good guy.
Yeah. We'll have to go to therapy now, listeners. Please go to our Patreon.
Oh, fuck. Hell yeah, that rocks. That fucking rocks. Anyway, what
we have shout outs.
Oh yeah, shout outs. Okay. Yeah,
are we gonna leave any of that shit in, or
all of it?
Okay, cool. Yeah, we gotta fill this time, baby.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so I guess to finish out this first half of the show, because we're gonna do news and answer questions on the back half. We're just going to go ahead and get our shout outs out of the way. As always, if you want to send us things, you can hit us up on Instagram at GutterBoysPod or GutterBoysPodcast@gmail.com. We will give you a shout out and post it on our social media platforms. We love getting stuff from the readers and checking it out. So as always, thanks to everybody for sending stuff in. Let's see. First up, we've got a guest on the show coming up. Ryan Alves sent us 4 comics. Chamber of Woe, The Christmas Before, The Gift, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, but Bito, B-I-T-O. As always, phenomenal work from the dude. You can follow him online at Alvstagram and tune into our next episode to make sure you get the scoop on what that guy's up to and where he's been. So shout out to Ryan for sending us over that stuff.
And then in the mail I received, as well as Cam, Nick Forker's Island. He sent over the first 4 issues. Really solid work. Always appreciate a good black and white comic. And this one checks off all those marks.
I like how the covers kind of harken back to that like mid-90s Dark Horse vibe with like the framing and just the color. Really nice work there. You can find Nick Forker on Instagram at Nicholas Forker, but Nicholas.
Yeah, he included a note. Thanks, JB. Keep up the good work. Short and to the point. I appreciate that. All right, so yeah, thanks, Nick, for sending your work. Really appreciate the sketch that you sent over as well, along with a pretty large sticker. Can't get enough stickers.
Hell yeah. Alrighty, next up, we got a copy of Smegmore. Smegmore is a comic by Eric Bergstrand. The cover says it all, folks. 18 and over only for immature audiences. We appreciate some good toilet humor, Eric, so thanks for sending this in. He also wrote us a note. Hey, Cam and JB, thanks so much for taking the time to check out my work. This book is the potential, hopeful start of a small series. I hope you aren't too put off by all the dick and poop jokes, and if you are, then sorry, I guess. I love the show and look forward to every new episode. Thanks for doing what you do for small press. Enjoy, Eric, at Barbarian420. So topical to the day, but definitely go check out his work and pick up a copy. He sent us some cool holographic stickers. I say legalized Jankum as well. So
yeah,
but Jankum actually plays a role in the Smegmore comics, so it makes sense. It's not like he's a fucking Jankum head. Maybe, I don't know. If you are, dude, let us know.
Next up, we have a very DIY black and white Xerox zine. Love to see it. Mini comic Tamita Super.
Yeah, that's from Bryce Martin. Bryce did a Stranger's Book not too long ago, and Ultra 8, I think it was called. Or no, I forget what a Stranger's Book was called, but he did one there. Ultra 8 was another comic that he did. But you can find Bryce online at Bryce Martin Comics with an X. Bryce is always like making some cool like sci-fi otherworldly comics, and he has a lot of fun with it, you could tell. So always great to get new stuff from him.
Yeah, I look forward to getting my copy. I appreciate the cover art because the little mouse guy looks like his face is a dick and balls drawn upside down. So that's cool.
Now that I'm looking at it, I can't unsee it.
Yes.
All right. Next up, we have Gaff issues 1 and 2 from Grant Rich. These are actually like really cool one-man anthology comics. Really nice production value, actually. Standard size here. It definitely looks like it was ripped straight from the 70s underground comics scene. I don't know if that's intentional or just the vibe that I get. Doesn't look like he's ripping anybody's style from that. That's just, with the covers and the interiors and what he's like trying to convey with the stories. That's definitely the vibe that I get. You could definitely check out Grant and recommend following him and his work and getting his comics at grantrich.com or on Instagram at granted_riches.
And then we also have from Philip Mera, Crackle Volumes 1 through 3. I think I might have Volume 1 already. I'm not sure. It looks really familiar.
He might have sent one your way.
But I mean, it looks like something I've had like a while ago, so this might not be it.
Yeah. It's a really cool book. Philip's always, kickstarting a project. Actually, if you listen to the ads, there should be an ad for his new Kickstarter project at the front or the middle of this episode, wherever those things go.
Wherever they are. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, wherever they are. So definitely follow the instructions there. We haven't recorded it yet, but follow those instructions to find him online and support him on his new Kickstarter.
All right. Thank you, Philip. Is he on Instagram?
You can find Philip online at Philip Myra.
Okay.
And that's PhillipMaira.
All right, so that's it for this round of shout-outs. Thanks again to everyone that sent in their work. We really appreciate it. Always nice to see people on the grind. All right, so yeah, we're going to take a quick break. And when we return, we're going to cover some news, bullshit around for an hour, I guess. Well, not an hour, but you know what I mean. We'll try to make it interesting, I promise. Please don't unsubscribe, please. God, please don't.
All right, see you after the break.
We'll be right back.
Athenium Comic Art is an original art website for some of the best cartoonists in the business. They currently represent Remy Boydell, Marie Capelle-France, Nicole Gu, Jonathan Hill, Emma Hunsinger, Casey Nowak, Micah Song, and Tilly Walden. Athenium Comic Art gives fans the opportunity to own an original piece of art from their favorite comics and support the artists that they love. In their short time in business, they've already shipped many iconic pages out to hardcore fans across the globe. Don't miss out on your chance to own a one-of-a-kind piece of history. Check out their website, atheniumcomicart.com, and type in Gutter Gang at checkout to receive free shipping on your first order. Again, the website is atheniumcomicart.com, and the code is Gutter Gang.
One day, while combing the beach, Ambar and Alana discovered a pair of beautiful medallions. What happened next changed their lives forever. The Santos Sisters will have you laughing from cover to cover as they fight crime, date dumb dudes, and just deal with everyday life as young women in the world. Coming in at a whopping 56 pages. This comic is printed with a 4-color web press on Decadent newsprint. All that for just $5? The #1 source for underground comics in Chicago, Quimby's, says this about our comic. A style that's part Archie, part superhero, part snark, but it's all fun. And we think that's just sick. The Santos Sisters is available now in select comic book stores and online at santosisters.com.
Hey Gutter Gang, Cam here to tell you about Soggy Landing again, longtime supporter of the podcast. They recently sent us printed copies of the first 3 chapters to review and are currently posting Chapter 4 online with updates on Instagram. And while I personally haven't seen any of Chapter 4 since I don't read webcomics, I can tell you the first 3 chapters are really fun to read and full of weed-smoking wizards and hijinks. They've also been contributors to Rust Belt Review issues 3 and 4 with some soggy side stories, so make sure to check those out too. You can read Soggy Landing over on Study Group Comics and over on Instagram at Ian Densford or at welcome_2_soggy_landing. Soggy Landing, hell yeah, dude.
The Last Aviatrix is a post-nuclear adventure comic by independent Los Angeles-based cartoonist Buster Cagle. The story follows Summer, our last aviatrix, who pilots the sole surviving airplane, a nuclear-powered B-29. As she travels the ruined world finding ways to survive and help humanity, while dealing with the imminent threat of the Atom-born, a rare breed of atomic wizards that want to see her out of the sky, her mission becomes complicated when she accidentally picks up Henry, an Atom-born child who wields incredible power, and Clementine, a berserker on a quest for vengeance. Can our aviatrix survive this ruined and irradiated wasteland? Every issue can be read for free on bustercagle.com/comics. Paper copies can be ordered as well, but, you can still read it for free. If you like wizards or warplanes, go check it out.
Rust Belt Review is a quarterly comics lit magazine featuring serialized and short-form comics from some of the most exciting cartoonists in the small press scene today. Volume 1 features work from Gutter alums M.S. Harkness, Audra Stang, and Caleb Arecchio, along with work by Andrew Greenstone, Sean Knickerbocker, and Juan Jose Fernandez. You can order your copy of Rust Belt Review today by going to rustbeltreview.org. Enter in promo code GUTTER to receive $2 off your order. Again, that website is rustbeltreview.org, promo code GUTTER.
Now, back to our program.
All right, welcome back from the break. Joining with us for this episode is no one. It's just us. Too bad. But we will keep you entertained for the next 45 minutes. We've got some shit to talk about. In particular, some recent news. This will be dated by the time you hear it on Monday. That's fine. But Image took a fat L.
Big L.
Huge L. Massive. Probably the biggest I've seen in a very long time.
Yeah. Comics United. It was a very beautiful thing to shit talk on Image.
Yes. They recently revealed a new comic that is very cool. They recently debuted a new comic
on 420
to celebrate 420. Yes, and it is The Secret History of the War on Weed by Duggan, Posehn, Koblish, bunch of other people. I don't give a shit. Whatever.
Those last few are probably the letters. Leave them off.
Who cares? Anyway, I'm assuming this is just another infographic Wikipedia comic, considering the quality of the cover.
It was it apparently detailed like the war on drugs and starting in the 80s.
Then 100%
with, like,
that's what it is.
and all that bullshit. So it's definitely Wikipedia.
It is, it's a Wikipedia infograph comic.
Yeah, I haven't seen the insides, but
I don't even
close
need to
your
see
eyes
it.
and imagine. You can probably figure it out.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
And on the cover, they included a bored ape. So for those of you that are completely disconnected from Twitter or social media and news about NFTs, congrats, your brain is intact. I'm jealous of you. But the Bored Ape is a very popular brand of NFTs owned by several very well-known brain-dead billionaires. Basically, the idea is they're basically just Beanie Babies as JPEGs.
Yeah,
so
pretty much.
You find the Beanie Baby that speaks to you the most about your personality, and it's just the same monkey with different clothes on. That's pretty much it. So if you feel like you're a wacky party guy, you can have one wearing like a captain's hat and sunglasses and holding a martini. If you feel like you're a very sensitive, emotional person, you could have him holding an acoustic guitar and maybe wearing a beret or something. I don't know. It's up to you. The possibilities are endless thanks to Bored Ape. But this new comic, along with this debut of this limited edition print run of 500 variant cover, really just ate shit very quickly. I have not seen a ratio this bad in a while in in comics Twitter. I mean, this thing has 1,067 quote tweets and only 172 likes.
And almost every reply has more likes than the actual post. Well, every reply that's dunking on it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm looking at just one. I literally just scrolled down, and one that just says, ugh, has 293. So that should tell you something about where this tweet went in terms of things went south very quickly, basically. It's a very funny read. If you're on Twitter, just go ahead and cycle through it. It's very funny to me. And so they ate shit pretty hard.
Still haven't deleted the tweet or backtracked on it.
Respect to Image for just holding it down. Just fucking Custard's last stand. Just taking it all right in the face.
Yeah.
Shout out to them. Shout out to Brian Posehn and his fucking nothing comedy career. That's just gone to just dog shit. It's a real shame. Now he has to fucking simp for NFTs. It's a sad world we live in now. For C-tier celebrities, they have nothing better to do. But this was very funny. Just getting to watch a very well-known comic publisher burn itself to the ground.
They've kind of fallen off, in my opinion, recently anyways.
Yeah, I feel that way about all of these like bigger quote-unquote independent comic publishers.
Right. All these Vaults and Aftershocks.
Vaults, IDW. They're all just, I don't know what happened. I don't know. Something post-COVID, they all just like lost their minds and just forgot how to do comics or something. I don't know what happened. They all just panicked. It's very strange.
It's in weird shape. It's in shambles, in my opinion.
Yeah. I guess they saw how poorly The Walking Dead season 28 was doing, and now they're just like fucking scrambling.
Or no, they're like, oh shit, we can only animate one season of Invincible every 3 years.
Yes. Man. So, people were wondering, why was this made? Why did Image not read the room and realize that maybe promoting an NFT-themed comic cover or whatever on Twitter would be a very bad idea? Because NFTs are not very popular on Twitter, especially within the comic circles. And why would they do this? Why they had
literally I saw a tweet recently that was screen grabbed and thrown in a chat that was Ethan Van Sciver being like, why do comic social justice warriors hate NFTs so bad? Like, those are the people that are trying to peddle NFTs into comics.
Yeah, you're in great company when Ethan Van Sciver is defending your book on Twitter. You're on the right side of history. That's great. No, somebody on Twitter actually was wanting to answer that question as to why was this made? Why is what does Image and Bored Ape have to do with one another? So Twitter user Chris Ross, who is a designer and letterer, retweeted that initial tweet from Image Comics, and he's saying, who owns this NFT? Good question. OpenSea has this as the owner, which lists Pindle D Boys _Fort_Knox. This is like the Xbox 12-year-old gamer that like snipes you, no scopes you from like the other side of the map and then calls you gay while doing it. That's that kind of name. Anyway, on the OpenSea account, he has several hundred NFTs. So this guy is like really fucking game for NFTs. He's down. He's investing. He's growing his wealth. He's thriving. Chris Ross points out that Pindeldeebaz is an interesting word and puts a link to something from the literaryunderground.org. And in it is an about page for Pindeldeebaz the Empire, which reads, Pindeldeebaz is an operation run by a small but valiant group of people. Look, if you make comics and you call yourself valiant, like just genuinely, like you're being serious and you're using Ren Fair language to describe yourself, you deserve all the bullying. But anyway, the statement says, we publish creative works here on our website, and we used to release a print volume once a year. That's very promising. Wow. We have been known to publish much fiction, some nonfiction, and artwork makes an irregular appearance. We released our first and only poetry collection in 2007. Oh, man. The web edition of Pindeldeebaz has published over 1,200 stories by more than 600 authors over the last 7 years. Yada, yada, yada. A bunch of bullshit. Underneath that, they list all of the losers involved in this. And guess who's listed as founding editor? One Jeff Boysen. And then Chris points out that the founding editor looks to be the director of sales and publishing planning for Image Comics. It's the same guy. So there you have it. this got railroaded through by the director of sales and publishing planning at Image because he really loves collecting NFTs.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That is the fact that a business decision was made on that alone is wild.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have sat in that meeting and overheard his argument as to why this needed to happen, and I would have just loved to have seen how quickly they folded on such a poor idea. Just no resistance, being like, yeah, I've the NFTs, that's like cool, right? Yeah, okay. And
I think these motherfuckers got too many cooks in the kitchen over there. I don't know if the left hand knows what the right hand's doing at Image. I'm not saying that with any knowledge.
So yeah, I mean, case closed, I guess. It's fucking Jeff Boysen, same guy. So this very, very strange turn of events for Image, and they like I said, L plus ratio. That's the end of that. Surprisingly, they've kept that tweet up. They've remained pretty silent about it since then.
Yeah, they just keep promoting all the other shit.
Yeah, which is pretty standard for anyone. Using these accounts.
Honestly, probably the smartest thing for them to do.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. Speaking of, this wasn't planned, but I just got to say this real quick. Speaking of, independent comic publishers, I got an email soliciting some comics from that Z2 company, the company that exclusively makes music like comics. You know what I'm talking about? Like Noah Van Sciver did the Grateful Dead comic over there.
Yeah.
Vince Staples had one or some shit that Buster Moody was on. Got an email though saying that they were doing a Broken Social Scene comic about the album You Forgot It in People, which was like 03, 04, 05. I don't know. I like the album, don't get me wrong, but why? Why in the fuck are Broken Social Scene getting a comic? People over at Z2, y'all need to just stick to your bread and butter of how bands formed in the 70s and, just biographic comics. We don't need this Craig Thompson blankets looking shit about indie albums in the mid 2000s, okay? I just really don't know who that's for. I truly don't understand. That's all I really had to say about that. Not really news, just Z2 doing Z2 things.
Yeah, I mean, I think we know who the audience is. It's pretty much people who don't read comics, and for people who are panic shopping for a last minute gift for a person that they don't really care much about, and they find this on the end aisle, and they just buy it. And they're like,
I just can't,
fucking personal like this.
No disrespect to Broken Social Scene, but how many Broken Social Scene fans are willing to put down $20 for a graphic novel?
Yeah, that's got to be the most boring fucking music story you could possibly think of, too.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's auto-buy or just stories inspired by it, because they do both of those type of books. Now, that said, if y'all want to give a gig to my boy Big Blake and let him draw Steely Dan, I think that could be cool.
Just boys being boys.
Yeah, I'll write the motherfucker. So Z2,
yeah,
don't take this as a complete burial, but Broken Social Scene, that ain't it, and that's coming from a fan of the band.
Yeah, I got nothing to add there other than... comics gonna comics, I guess. Yeah, Z2's gonna Z2.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the next drawn and quarterly infographic comic for, confused step parents who don't know what to buy their teenage stepson or stepdaughter. So they, rush over to a Barnes and Nobles and fucking pick this up for $25 or whatever. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's clearly meeting some kind of quota. Otherwise they wouldn't make it. So I guess good for you.
All right. Well, let's see. We did poll the listeners for news topics or questions, and we got quite a bit of questions, actually. So we're just going to round out the episode with these.
We also got a question that wasn't related to a guest or a specific episode. It was a really good question, so I wanted us to answer it on the air. It was from Nicholas Slover, Instagram user NNNSLUHH. They asked, question for you all. Do you have any advice on churning out work faster? I've been working on 2 pages for what feels like half a year. They are overly very detailed, but I feel like there's no way I'll hit the page count I'm aiming for at this rate. P.S. Started the podcast a couple of months ago from episode 1 and freaking love the work y'all are doing. Thank you, Nicholas. It sounds like you are really, really putting the lead to paper if you went through all of our episodes in 1 month, which is a good thing. So, shout out to you. But in terms of your main question here, 2 pages during 6 months, roughly. Yeah, everybody works at a different pace. I think we can all agree on that. Austin English, who we had on last episode, he admitted that it takes him a good chunk of time just to finish a book. His recent book took him, how many years did he say?
I think he was working on it on and off for 4 years, he said.
4 years. Okay. Yeah. But that's also taken into account, the fact that he's working on other projects. He's also running Domino Books. Right. He also has his full-time job as a teacher. So he's got a lot on his plate. In terms of, somebody who is working on pages and only those pages and nothing else, 6 months and only 2 pages, to me, sounds not good.
Yeah, just to put it bluntly.
Yeah, right. And, I don't know. Maybe you are working on other projects simultaneously. Mm-hmm. But if that's not the case and you are just trying to churn out this book and you're still only able to pull out 2 pages every 6 months, I would recommend rethinking your approach in terms of how you are, tackling this book. I feel like a lot of people, especially people that are just starting out in comics, tend to over-render stuff. People starting out tend to have these huge dreams in their mind's eye in terms of the scope of their books. And oftentimes that's not very realistic. It's not within the scope of their own abilities. And that's, not a bad thing. You just have to learn and develop over time. So, my personal recommendation would be just keep churning out pages. Maybe take a break on this particular project because it sounds like it's very close and, something that you are very much attached to for specific reasons.
Right.
So
making these assumptions off of not seeing the work, of course.
Right. It's a little difficult for us to really talk about it too in depth, but I'm just, basing this on what I've seen from other people and the types of questions we get, relating to this.
Yes, absolutely. I think you're onto something, though, with like the put it down for a while.
Yeah. Put it down for a while. Take a break. Maybe
work on something else.
Work on something else. Something that's a little more stripped down and basic.
Yeah.
Really hone in on the fundamentals and just meat and potatoes. That's all you got to worry about. Do a black and white comic. Hell, I would say maybe even just do, Sunday strips style stuff and just do, 3 or 4 strips and then keep churning them out. And then by the time you have 50 or 60 of these strips, then you can combine them into a small zine or a comic.
Or, I mean, even, if you have to do like 1-page gags, like, like that used to be in the humor magazines or like the New Yorker still, maybe you could still be a cartoonist and not have to work on like, a gridded page. It's all about evaluating what you want to do and what kind of work you want to put out. So if, you're having a hard time doing a 9-panel grid or whatever the fuck you're working on the page, like JB said, try something shorter or make some gag strips. Maybe you'll have more fun doing something where you don't have to do like a huge narrative right away. This is an assumption, but I'm assuming this is, something that this is one of your first books, and if it's not coming out naturally, I would just really advise stepping away from it and doing something else, because no sense in getting hung up on something that you're not working on.
Right.
Well, I mean, obviously you're working on it, but, not working on it at a good enough speed, in my opinion. I don't know if that's too harsh.
No. I think that's honest, and I think he clearly wants us to be honest with him. So, no, I mean, for being perfectly honest, 2 pages in 6 months is not good. Like, that's very, very bad.
And this is assuming that you're, like, wanting to do more than that. Like, if you have, like, sat down 3 times in 6 months, okay, sit down more.
Yeah, right, Draw more often, yeah. But I don't think that's the case. This to me sounds like somebody who is at their desk. The fact that he told us that he finished our entire run of episodes within a month while drawing, that means he's drawing pretty often.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
that's like 75 episodes. So that's roughly around 80 plus hours that he's clocking in.
Bro, I'd say it's like 100 plus.
Sure, whatever. Doesn't matter. But either way, it's a lot of hours.
Yeah,
so he's clearly drawing quite a bit. He's at that desk putting in the work, but it's not paying off for him.
Yeah, I would just step away from your current project and do something else. Even if you have to do like some exercise shit. Our buddy Pete was like redrawing Archie comics for a while. So if you want to just get better at drawing, just like draw other pages. You don't have to show other people that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then while you're drawing it, you'll probably understand like why this is sequenced the way it is, and it might teach you something.
Right.
So there's a lot of things you can do instead of that, but I think it really just comes down to, I don't know, man. Like if I was working on a comic and I only got 2 pages in 6 months for it, I would just be like, maybe this isn't the one at this moment. Not to say it's not a good idea or not a story worth telling, but you might just have to come back to it. I mean, you look at that fucking monster book that Barry Windsor Smith did, and that was a 30-year work in progress, you know? So there's a time and place for everything.
And we can also agree that, you know, as good as this person might be, they're not Barry Windsor Smith. You know, like they're not. I think we can be honest and say that they're not pumping out that much work within, you know, this short period of time, while also working on this thing that's happening that just so happens to take them very long. You know?
Yeah,
I mean? So,
I just meant that, like, you know, if the story takes 30 years to come out, the story takes 30 years to come out.
Right. But, you know, the way I'm reading this question, this is how I'm interpreting it. So I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, Nicholas, I'm sorry. I don't know. Maybe do better describing what you're working on. I don't know what to tell you.
Maybe work with a writer, okay?
Yeah. Now, based on what I got from you and the way you framed the question, it made me think that you're probably over-rendering and you're overworking the page. Mm-hmm. And it's just a matter of maybe working beyond your scope. That's how I'm interpreting it.
Yeah. And I think that's good advice.
Yeah. So if that's the case, if I'm right, if my assumption here is correct, don't over-render. Don't treat every panel or page like an illustration. You're not making an illustration. You're making a comic. Mm-hmm. So just keep that in mind. You know, keep it simple.
Yep. Agreed. Can't really add anything more to that.
Yeah. So, yeah. And, you know, like I said, if we're wrong about this, Nicholas, let us know.
Yeah.
Either way, just send us some examples of these pages because I am interested to see what's going on here. Mm-hmm. But anyway, let's get to our recent questions that were sent over to us via Instagram.
Yeah. The first one came from Instagram user Mikes_not_sane. Your dream collaborators. You know, the longer I do this shit, the less I want to collaborate with people. You know, I say that about to put a split out with Jazz, and I wrote a story for Jazz to draw. But I really like working alone on my comics. You know, I don't really have a dream collaborator. It would just have to be it'd have to be a really good script. I don't give a fuck if it's some writer that has clout. If the story's dog shit and I don't want to spend time drawing it, I'm not going to. Yeah. But, you know, I guess on the flip side of that, you know, if I could write some kind of Batman comic for a badass artist to draw, that could be fun. But, you know, I don't want to, like, not to say, like, that would never happen, and I'm not pursuing that happening. So I guess I don't really think about those things. I know it's a bad answer, but no one.
Yeah, right. Dream collaborators. I don't know. You know, like Cam, the longer I do this, the less I'm interested in collaborating with people. And that's not because I don't like other comic creators.
Right.
That's not it. I feel like when there's less cooks in the kitchen, the project runs way more smoothly. That's it.
Yeah.
You know, there's less fucking back and forth. There's less stuttering and, you know, misplaced actions or, you know, stuff that could just make the project fall apart or drag out longer than it needs to be. And yeah, I feel like when it's just one person just doing everything and making the project and making the comic, you're usually just better off that way. Unless it's like, I mean, I feel like if I work on a comic and I have somebody else do the lettering and color the thing, sure, that's fine. But even then, I'd still have to review the stuff, give them notes back, have to wait on that until I get it back, and then review that. And, you know, it just runs way better if it's just one person. Even if it takes longer overall, but still.
Yeah, and I mean, you get to tell the story you want with how you want to tell it. Now, that said, I guess to give an answer, I was thinking about it. David Lapham's doing a little like 4 to 6 page backups in Detective Comics. I would write a 4 to 6 page Batman comic for David Lapham. I love that motherfucker. So there's your answer. But really no one.
Yeah. All right. Next question is from Instagram user The Prophet DC.
What up, David?
They asked, is Gutter Mag still happening? Yes, it is, David. Thank you for asking.
We've been talking about that a lot off air every time we record.
Yes, pretty much, yes. And yeah, it's still happening. We are still waiting on, I think, one story.
Yeah, so we're going to have a Greg and Fake Santos sister story in there, but they're still penciling it. But I talked to those dudes, and they said they should have something for us soon. So once we get that, I guess we're going to do it on Kickstarter. We haven't really talked about that yet. It seems like people are still using it despite all the controversy. So
yeah, my vote is using a different platform.
Yeah, same.
But I understand if it comes down to it and it's the only option, then sure, I guess. But
right,
I
yeah.
don't know.
So we're gonna explore some things. If you all have any, suggestions, DM us at GutterBoysPod because we're definitely in the market to hear about that. Okay, next question came from Instagram user Michael.R.Muller. Is Snoopy circumcised? Nah, because dogs just have the little red thing that comes out, right? There's no circumcision involved.
Right. Yeah, no, they got the lipstick. Yeah.
Michael, are you dumb?
I know Michael. I've known that guy for a very long time.
It's jokes, yeah.
No, yeah, I know. And the answer is no, he's not circumcised. So there you go.
He's got the red rocket, bro.
But his dick is huge. I think we can all agree.
Yeah, his dick is actually the red house. Like when he's laying on his back, his dick is going under him between his legs and he's sitting on it.
Yes. Damn. His dick is so big, he sits on his dick. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty tight.
All right. From dreams.lately. Have you had any dreams lately?
Do you know this person?
No, I don't. I like to think that they're just going to random. Yeah, I think it's a bot that's just going to random Instagram accounts and asking this question, which is really worrying for a couple of different reasons.
Dreams.lately. Have you had any dreams lately?
We might as well answer the question. Have you had any dreams lately, Cam?
I have to think about this for a second. I wasn't ready for this one. Actually, no, to be honest with you, man.
You're just too high.
No, for real. Like, I think I smoke because I smoke right before bed. Like, I don't really dream anymore.
You don't have any dreams. Yeah.
Yeah, no. For real, I don't. Like, the last dream that I had, I feel like it was in the past couple weeks, and it was like one of those work-related dreams where you're in the building and nothing looks like where you actually work, but you know you're at work, and I don't really remember much from it besides that.
Okay. Let's see. The last dream I had, this is funny because I was talking to my friend about this, I think last week. You know how dreams kind of sway into other scenes, I guess you could say, for the lack of a better word?
Yeah.
But, you'll be doing something and then just gradually, without even realizing it, you're somewhere else doing something else with other people. And it's just like, you don't even second guess it. It's like a scene missing kind of thing where like something happened between here and here, but you don't know what it was, but you also don't care enough to really question it. So I was doing that. I was doing something, and then I suddenly find myself in this like old-timey palace, like kind of like a European castle type of deal. And I'm sitting across from my friend. We're just like talking about something, and then there's a party going on, and we walk into this room from away from all these other people, and then the dream kind of dissipates from there. It was very strange. I don't exactly remember what it was we were talking about, but my friend did have a very strange kind of like how people on the West Coast had this like weird fake accent back in like the 40s and 50s. Basically, if you watch any old black and white movie from the 30s and 40s, all these white people would have this like weird accent.
I know what you're talking about. I just always assume that it's because people were more educated back then.
Yeah, no. I think that accent was supposed to imply that like you are from a wealthier stock kind of deal. Yeah. But it was complete bullshit. Like it was not specific to any actual location or region in the country. Okay. But she was speaking to me in that kind of way with this accent. And it was very strange because she's Turkish, raised in England. So she has a British accent. So it didn't make any sense to me. And then I told her about it. I was just like, I had this weird dream with you. And, it was in this like European castle or whatever. She thought it was funny, but she also told me she'd been working on a project where she's working on her speech because she's an actor. And she's practicing a transatlantic accent, which is what that accent is. So I was like, oh, that's a very odd coincidence that would happen in my dream while you're also doing it for a role in a series that you're going to be on. It's just very bizarre to me. And what's even weirder is that the series that she's doing, it's going to be on Paramount Plus. I forget what the fucking name of the show is going to be, but it takes place in Europe. I believe it takes place mostly in Turkey, but it's like broadly in Europe. She's been trying to figure out this accent that her character has to have, because the character that she plays is a Turkish person who has a transatlantic accent on top of that because of the time period that this TV series takes place. But she has a British accent, so she has to like reverse engineer the transatlantic accent with the Turkish accent. It's very strange. But yeah, so when she told me that, I was like, oh, that's like a very strange coincidence. Like, you know, I mean, it's completely coincidence. I know that. It's not like we had some kind of mind meld moment or some fucking bullshit like that. Like, it's just complete. That it just happened. That's all. It doesn't mean anything. I don't really think it means anything beyond that. But I did think it was funny, and she did too. But yeah, anyway. That was a very long-winded explanation of a dream that really wasn't that interesting. So
hey, that's okay. We the listeners wanted to know. Dreams.lately. I'm sure they tune into every episode.
Yeah, I'm running a fever, so you know, I'm just trying to make chicken salad out of chicken shit. Is that the
there
old
you go. Yeah.
wrestling term? Yeah.
Yep. All right. So last question comes from friend of the pod, Pat Alizio. What's an NFT? Oh man, loaded question, man. Depends on what side of the fence you're on. All I can say, Pat, is don't do one, bro, or you're done. You're dead to us. Okay. If you do one, you're not dead to us right now, but if you do one, you're dead to us. I did get a tweet off earlier that I'm going to say it out loud so I can just, will it into existence. Ryan Stegman sent some designer dude
that's right,
to do his dirty work. And Stegman, this dude does, I'm not going to dox him and say who he is because he locked his account up and went private and deleted all the tweets. But if you look at my replies, you will find who he is on Twitter. That's that said, this dude was like, why do comic people hate NFTs so bad? And then listed like 4 examples, and he got ratioed into oblivion as well. It was almost as bad as the image thing, but actually I would say it's worse because people wouldn't talk as much shit as they were talking to Image as they were to this guy. But that said,
yeah, they took the safety off.
Yeah,
they went off on this guy.
So I forgot where I was even going with this. I know we were talking about NFTs.
Yeah, so I mean, the gist of it was he was doing the fucking Team Comics thing. We're like, hey, we're all friends. We can have a real congenial discussion about the importance of NFTs and how we could make it better and, fucking improve the lives of comic. Just basically sounding like a grifter. And not realizing,
buzzwords.
Right, just using the same language, the same carny speak that these NFT people are using. And everybody just called him out for that. It was just like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I know what I was going for. So yeah, Stegman had this guy doing his dirty work because I think Stegman is trying to dip his toes into NFTs for real because this guy does work for him. If you don't know who Ryan Stegman is, he's drawing Venom with Donny Cates. He's Donny Cates' artist normally. And I don't usually have a problem with this guy. He might be a douche, I don't know, but y'all know I fucking hate Donny. So I just tweeted out that if Stegman does do an NFT, I really hope he brings Donny with him just so we can kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
Yeah, that would be a great Twitter moment of having those both of those guys reveal a new NFT comic thing and it just fucking eats shit immediately.
Yeah, it would be so sick. But
I feel like this, I feel like because Image did this and because it was just so public in terms of how south everything went, I feel like a lot of creators and publishers in the comics world are going to take note of that.
I don't know, man. These comics publishers are pretty fucking stupid, man.
No. I'm not saying they're not going to do it. I'm just saying they're going to be less vocal about it on Twitter.
Oh, yes, that makes sense.
That's still
what
do
the
it.
Guy who got owned was trying to say. He was like, this isn't really how people feel. It's just Twitter's a volatile space. It's like, nah, dude. I mean, yes, Twitter's a volatile space, but that's how people feel. It's a volatile space,
but it's also like, that's where most comic creators are.
Yeah, we're posting,
if they have social media, they're on Twitter. That because it's like, to them, a lot of these people use Twitter, and I'm not saying this is right or wrong or anything, but a lot of these people use social media, especially Twitter, as a networking tool.
Yes.
And some of them use them as LinkedIn, which is fucking stupid. We can talk about that another time. But they use it as a networking tool and, people talk. And if it just so happens that the majority of them are sour on NFTs and it's, the fucking list of reasons shouldn't surprise you as to why they would be anti-NFT. I mean, honestly, you just have to fucking read the reasons and just think for 2 minutes. It doesn't take a whole lot of time or energy to figure that out.
Right.
So I feel like, with Image doing this and it just not working out very well, or at least in terms of how they had probably planned it out in their heads, these other fucking ghouls that want to do it are probably just going to keep it on the DL and continue doing it anyway.
Right. Yeah. So I don't think that really answered your question, Pat, but you know what an NFT is.
NFTs are fucking stupid, and they
deserve to die a slow and painful death.
Yes.
But not too slow, because I don't want to be hearing about this shit in 2 years. So die quickly, please.
Die faster, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So does that do it for us? Are we done?
Yeah, we're done here, man. We got a good amount of talk.
Well, let's go ahead and plug shit. As always, if you want to support the show, you can go to patreon.com/gutterboys or gutterboys.top. $5 a month gets you bonus episodes, and $10 gets you merch and zines every other month. That said, we did have a glowing review commented on our Twitter. I posted a link to the Patreon apparently on June 18th of last year in 2021. And Twitter user at JMSDGLS.
Oh, this is going to be great. I know
replied to it. No, this is a real person.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just don't know what the fuck that stands for, but I followed them back for the nice words. But they're followed by mutuals. So yes. And so user at JMSDGLS replied to this almost year-old tweet with, new to the Patreon, can confirm the real conversations happen after the episodes.
Oh, yes. Yeah, things get real after dark.
Yeah, so if you are interested in hearing us talk, kind of like this episode, but with previous guests of the show cycling in sometimes.
All the R words.
But definitely support us if you can. We appreciate it for real. So shout out to all of our Patreon supporters. You help us pay some bills, and we definitely appreciate it.
Yes. And, if you are a patron, you get access to a lot of episodes that people just never get the chance to hear otherwise. And I feel like we have a lot of really great interviews and topics, discussed in those bonus episodes.
Yeah, for sure.
Recently, we had friend of the show, past guest, Pimp of the Year recipient, MS Harkness, who sat down and talked with us about some past experiences relating to a pretty recent, semi-recent pop culture news event. I'm not going to get into too much detail. I don't want to fucking dox the situation, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, so if you want a celebrity that passed away, if you want to hear a story involving them that was told by MS Harkness, that's going to be, I guess it was last week, part 2 of that.
Oh, yeah, it's already out. It's a two-parter. It's, 2+ hours of just insane shit.
Yeah, and we've been on Patreon for over a year, so if you're, just now signing up, you got a backlog of previous guests. And to be honest, when we're interviewing a guest on here, we try to keep it formal despite our relationship with the guest, just to kind of give the listeners what they want to hear. But if you want to just hear us talk to them and talk about the business like normal people, you can find all that on the Patreon.
Yeah, it's a little more off the cuff.
Yeah.
Which I think is saying something, because I feel like even our formal interviews are a little off the cuff anyway. So these are like fucking full on pants off, hanging out.
We stopped carnival barking.
yeah. Right. Yeah. We also, every once in a while, we'll have guests that don't really fit in line with our main feed. People that aren't actively involved in comics, but want to come in and, kind of just talk shit.
Some big dick motherfuckers, clout-wise, too.
Yes.
We had a dude who did Red versus Blue, Eric.
Oh, yeah. Buddy Eric Bedore, really good dude. He is currently, I forget. He's doing an
AEW podcast now, right?
Yeah. He's heading the official AEW podcast, co-hosting that show with Scorpio Sky, I believe, right? Scorpio.
Yeah. He's Scorpio Sky's co-host.
Yes. Okay.
And we had Nick Farrell, Fuzzfang, on, and he was the one who did the Toys That Made Us and the movies that made us on Netflix. So
yes, he's the editor on those shows. He also recently put out a new web series that is not on YouTube. It's just on his website, The Secret Compartment. Go check it out if you're a fan of vintage toys. Really good stuff. Same level of quality, if not more, than what you see in those Netflix shows. So if you've seen those shows on Netflix, you kind of have an idea of what to expect.
Yeah. And we went deep with those guys. We gave them the Gutter Boys treatment, but we didn't put it on the main feed because, it wasn't related to comics. So if you're interested in hearing that shit, or if you're a Ramon Villalobos stan,
oh, geez, yeah.
He shows up a lot as well. So
Ooh. Yeah.
Anytime something hot happens in comics, we usually try to get him on to get his take on things, which is usually just him reading his tweets to our audience for an hour.
Right. And that's why we didn't go too in detail about the Eddie Piss story that happened last month, because we pretty much unloaded in that bonus episode.
Yeah,
So
we
there
did an
was-
hour plus just the timeline. Like, you're talking about like these Netflix crime documentaries. We did that shit on the death of Ed Piskor on the Patreon. So
Yeah, very funny episode. Very funny. All right. So yeah, that'll do it for this one. Thanks for listening, and until next time, stay gutter.